This page is all about beat-em-ups, a proper brawl fest for the Dreamcast. You've got Soul Calibur, Dead or Alive 2, Virtua Fighter 3 TB, and Ultimate Fighting Championship headlining the issue. They've got a whole heap more fighters mentioned in the Plus section like Project Justice, Mortal Kombat Gold, Capcom vs SNK, and tons more. Down at the bottom they've got some screenshots showing off Power Stone 2, Ready to Rumble Round 2, and WWF Royal Rumble. It's issue 32 of the magazine, boasting a whopping 268 game reviews, and promising an as of Dreamcast cheats and a chance to win a Dreamcast Games pod, and even a $5 off any Dreamcast game in store. Cheeky! Looks like this one is from around May 2002. The next page is the contents for this issue, issue 32. It's packed with game reviews, kicking off with Capcom vs SNK, and then Dead or Alive 2, ECW Anarchy Rolls, Fighting Vipers, Marvel vs Capcom and Marvel vs Capcom 2. Blimey, they are really going for the beat-em-up theme, aren't they? There's Mortal Kombat Gold, Power Stone and Power Stone 2, Project Justice, Psychic Force 2012, Ready to Rumble 2 and Ready to Rumble Round 2, Soul Calibur, Street Fighter 2 A Third Strike, Street Fighter 2 A Double Impact and Street Fighter Alpha 3, Tech Romancer, UFC, Virtua Fighter 3, TB and WWF Royal Rumble. Right at the bottom of the reviews there's listings for Interact Intro, Dreamcast Solutions as, Directory, Back Issues and Dream On, Justice. They're calling out 21 top scrappers reviewed, and showing screenshots for Techromancer, Capcom vs SNK, Dead or Alive 2 and Ultimate Fighting Championship, all beat-em-ups as expected. They're also advertising an as of cheats, and a competition to win a Dreamcast pod. Down at the bottom there's phone numbers to ring for cheats and guides, both for UK and non-UK callers, and a mention of saving time by using their call service to get cheats and game selection tips. It's all about cheats for Dreamcast games, proper cheat bonanza this issue. This page is a competition page, shouting Dreamcast pods up for grabs. It seems game is involved somehow, in association with game is written in a box. The competition question is, who created Sonic the Hedgehog? With multiple choice answers. A. Yuji Naka, B. Shigeru Miyamoto, Century Burt Brell. You have to send your answer on a postcard to I Want a Pod, Dreamcast Magazine, Paragon Publishing Limited, Street Peters Road, Bournemouth, BH12JS. Looks like you could win a Dreamcast pod, those fancy arcade cabinet style things they had in game stores. There's a small image of a VMU and a £5 off voucher for game for an official 1MB VMU unit, so they are really pushing the VMU as well. Warrener. The page shows photos of people playing Dreamcast in these pods, including one with a boxing game, maybe Ready to Rumbles. There's also a bloke in a white cap playing a light gun game, maybe House of the Dead 2 or Confidential Mission. It mentions you've seen these pods in favorite games emporiums, and now is your chance to win one. A bit of gaming history for your bedroom, they say. The rules state that the editor's decision is final. No correspondence will be entered into. Employees of Paragon Publishing or its sponsors' game may not enter. The winners will be available in writing from Paragon Publishing. The sponsors reserve the right to supply prizes of equivalent value rather than those illustrated. No cash alternatives. Standard competition guff, really. Capcom vs SNK for Dreamcast is lauded as a top-tier fighting game, praised for its presentation and the successful crossover of characters. The review highlights the role reversal, where characters from both companies are redesigned in each other's style, with positive results. Despite enhanced visuals, the game remains a 2D fighter, though levels have unique intros. Dorwoitei, the final boss, Geese Howard, provides a challenging fight in arcade mode. The review is overwhelmingly positive, with a second opinion, calling it a streamlined fighter phenomenon, with solid controls. The game earns a Dreamcast Masterclass award with high scores across all categories. Visuals, 92%, sounds, 87%, gameplay, 96%, value, 85%, and an overall score of 91%. The review suggests that fans of Capcom vs SNK should also enjoy Marvel vs Capcom 2, though the former is rated higher. Overall, Capcom vs SNK is considered a superior 2D fighter on the Dreamcast. K. Dead or Alive 2 on the Dreamcast receives a glowing review, praising its merits as a fighting game. The review highlights the game's emphasis on the female character's assets, but acknowledges its quality as a fun and deep beat-em-up. The graphics are commended for their visual appeal, exceeding the bouncing bits aspect. The review mentions gameplay details, including the 4-player tag battles, and various game modes like Story, versus, and survival. An info burst box provides facts about characters like Kasumi and Ayan. Furthermore, catwalking focuses on character animations and victory poses. The review concludes that Dead or Alive 2 is every bit as good as it looks, offering a positive overall impression. This review of Dead or Alive 2 for the Dreamcast highly praises the game, emphasizing its stunning visuals, especially the character models. The review playfully highlights the graphics and customization options. Beyond the aesthetics, it praises the surprisingly deep and engaging gameplay, calling it scintillating and addictive. The review is structured with humorous sections like Breast is Best and Bum Note, acknowledging any potential criticisms while ultimately celebrating the game's strengths. The Dreamcast opinion box rates the game highly, giving it a 91% overall. The review concludes that Dead or Alive 2 is a top-tier fighting game and a must-have for the Dreamcast, particularly enjoyable with friends. This Dreamcast review critiques ECW Anarchy Rules, a wrestling game from Acclaim. The reviewer, drawing a Britney Spears analogy, indicates the game is another misstep following a previous disappointment. While noting improved graphics compared to earlier versions, particularly character models, the review is largely negative. The gameplay, though offering diverse match types and a wide wrestler selection, receives low marks, leading to an overall score of 31%. Weak gameplay and long loading times between matches are key criticisms. The review compares the game unfavorably to older PlayStation WWF games and recommends other Dreamcast wrestling titles instead, such as WWF Royal Rumble and Fire Pro Wrestling D. The reviewer bluntly concludes that ECW Anarchy Rolls is not a great game and a missed opportunity. This page is a review of Fighting Vipers 2 on the Dreamcast. The magazine are questioning Sega's arcade conversions, wondering if we really need another beat-em-up. The review acknowledges Sega's arcade technology allowed for impressive 3D races and fighting games like Virtua Fighter. Fighting Vipers 2 is described as a solid, original fighting game focusing on all-out combo action in a closed arena, contrasting with the Street Fighter series. The review highlights some quirky aspects, mentioning how characters have armor that can be broken off during fights, and the ability to use items like rocket boosters in combat. It points out the game is similar to its predecessor, but doesn't offer much new, suggesting it's more of an update. They note the graphics are good but not amazing, describing the animation as a bit Saturn-esque. Sound quality is criticized as lightweight, and the music isn't considered particularly memorable. The Dreamcast opinion section gives the game a 65% overall rating, summarizing it as, okay, but as a whole it just doesn't live up to the high standards set by other fighters. Alternative games recommended are Dead or Alive 2 and Soul Calibur as superior choices in the genre. The review scores are broken down into visuals, 71%, sounds, 54%, gameplay, 62%, and value, 60%. An infoburst panel mentions the arcade version came out in Japan in 1997, and that M2, of Virtua Fighter fame, is behind the game, expressing surprise it wasn't brought to the Dreamcast sooner. Marvel vs. Capcom on Dreamcast is lauded as a premier fighting game experience. The review emphasizes the over-the-top action, tag team battles, and visually stunning special moves and combos. Featuring a roster of 37 characters, including fan favorites from both Marvel and Capcom universes, the game delivers fast-paced gameplay and a chaotic visual spectacle. While the controls are noted as a minor drawback on the Dreamcast pad, the game's brilliance is still recognized. Additional sections further praise the frantic action and colorful visuals, with a warning about potential screen clutter. The game receives an impressive 91% overall score, with strong marks in visuals, sounds, gameplay, and value. It is highlighted as a long-running crossover series that has been very popular in arcades. The next page is a review of Marvel vs. Capcom 2. It kicks off by acknowledging that beat-em-ups might be getting a bit much, but then immediately justifies why this one is essential. They're calling it a shock horror that Capcom has released another 2D beat-em-up, but in a good way, saying it's a king amongst them. The review highlights the blistering stuff aspect, noting the chaotic, over-the-top action and the sheer amount of stuff happening on screen, saying it's utterly bonkers in the best way. They mention the Shoryuken factor, emphasizing the fun and replayability, suggesting there's a ridiculous amount of fighters to choose from, 56 in fact, and that you can unlock even more in the secret factor, which involves arcade points to spend in the shop for new characters and outfits. The Worm Has Turned section talks about the backgrounds being 3D, giving extra depth and dimension, and praises the sound effects and music. The review concludes by calling it an absolute must for beat-em-up fans, and awards it a strong 89% overall rating. The scoring breakdown shows visuals at 80%, sounds at 70%, gameplay at 91%, and value at 85%. The Dreamcast opinion panel features two takes, one calling it a smack, an instant classic, and the other a cack, meaning it's a near-perfect game. Mortal Kombat Gold for the Dreamcast is reviewed as a fun, albeit dated, entry in the series. The review highlights the game's extreme gore and violence, including classic fatalities and new characters. While the gameplay is described as nothing new, it's fast, frantic, and fun. The judgment calls out cool aspects like fast action and excessive gameplay, balanced by crap elements like repetitive sequences. A second opinion praises the depth and gameplay despite a lack of originality, concluding it satisfies beat-em-up needs. The review gives an overall score of 77%, with positive ratings for gameplay and value. Screenshots showcasing gameplay and fatalities, accompanied by call-out boxes emphasizing gore, reinforce the game's core appeal. The next page is a review for Power Stone on the Dreamcast, and it's getting the Dreamcast Ultra rating, so it must be good. Capcom, those clever chaps behind Street Fighter, have crafted a right belter of a beat-em-up. They're saying the graphics are simply breathtaking, possibly the best we've ever clapped eyes on, which is high praise indeed. It's described as a state-of-heart thrill ride, promising spills and thrills for all. The review highlights the interactive environments. You can apparently use everything around you as weapons, chucking objects about the place. Each of the 8 starting characters has their own unique style, and you can unlock 2 more bosses. Collecting 3 Power Stones lets you transform into a super-powered version of yourself. Sounds like a right laugh. The controls are simple, just one button for kick or punch, but there's plenty of depth with combinations. They're clearly very impressed, reckon it could redefine the genre even. They've even got boxes showing off characters like Ayame and Galuda and talking about the bosses. Sounds like a proper arcade blast at home. This page continues the review of Power Stone, and it's still sounding top-notch, bagging a whopping 92%. They reckon it's state-of-heart stuff, really pushing the Dreamcast. The Stone reviewer is clearly smitten, praising the instant fun, the special moves and the crazy, over-the-top action, though they do mention it might be a tad shallow for some. Grown, on the other hand, reckons it's amazing and can't find fault at all. They've given it top marks across the board in the Dreamcast rating. Visuals, sound, gameplay and value, all getting 90% and above. There's a little box mentioning Virtual Fighter 3 TB as an alternative arcade perfect fighter. Flipping over, we've got an ad spread for Dreamcast games at GameStation. Phantasy Star Online is up for pre-order, which is exciting news. There's a whole stack of games listed at £9.99 each, including classics like Capcom vs SNK, Crazy Taxi 2, Dynamite Cop, F355 Challenge, Gunbird 2, Marvel vs Capcom 2, Metropolis Street Racer, Res Ready 2, Rumble 2, Revolt, Shadow Man, Soul Fighter, Space Channel 5, Street Fighter Third Strike, Super Runabout, Sword of the Berserk, Tomb Raider Chronicles, Wafer Dream Soccer, Urban Chaos, Virtua Athlete 2K and Worldwide Soccer 2000, and WWF Royal Rumble at £14.99. They're also pushing these games at £24.99 each. Res, Headhunter, Virtua Tennis 2, Shenmue 2 and Confidential Mission. GameStation are boasting a massive back catalogue and giving their phone number, website and shop opening times too, for anyone wanting to pop down. Power Stone 2 is hailed as an innovative beat-em-up and a must-play for Dreamcast owners, surpassing the original. The review emphasizes its 3D freedom, over-the-top action, and Capcom's responsiveness to fan feedback. Romancing the Power Stone introduces new characters alongside familiar faces, including secret fighters like Mel and Pride. Gameplay enhancements include multi-level stages and characters performing on them, leading to more dynamic battles with changing environments, submarines, and airships. Fighters can now interact with the crumbling stages, grabbing onto elements to survive. The review introduces new characters like Axel, Julia, Gourmand, and Pete. An info box notes the Japanese version's availability. Screenshots showcase diverse stages and characters in action, highlighting the game's varied environments and intense battles, with the reviewer expressing satisfaction. This page continues the Power Stone 2 review, and they are really getting into the multiplayer aspect, noting there are over 100 different weapons and items to use, which adds to the replayability. It's highlighted as being proper chaotic fun for multiplayer sessions with your mates. And then there's the Dreamcast opinion section giving Power Stone 2 a stonking 92% overall. The individual scores are also impressive, with 93% for visuals and sound, and 91% for gameplay. Value is rated at 88%. The second opinion section further emphasizes how impressed they are, with the sheer amount of action and enjoyment to be had. Finally, as an alternative suggestion if you fancy a different fighter, they recommend Marvel vs. Capcom 2. Project Justice, the sequel to rival schools, receives overwhelmingly positive reviews, earning a 91% overall score. The game excels in visuals, 93%, gameplay, 92%, sound, 86%, and value, 88%. Reviewers praise the game's engaging quality, highlighting the polished gameplay, especially the team-up moves. Screenshots showcase dynamic action and special moves like Burning Vigor Attack and Party Up Technique. The Dreamcast opinion is positive, calling the game bigger and better than its predecessor. A second opinion reinforces the fun and visual appeal, while the alternative recommendation is Marvel vs. Capcom 2. The team battle system, emphasizing tag teams and multiple fighters, promises a fun multiplayer experience. Psychic Force 2012 for Dreamcast, a manga-inspired beat-em-up, draws comparisons to Soul Calibur and Power Stone. While gameplay is decent and reminiscent of the original PlayStation version, the review suggests it lacks polish in visuals and audio. It's praised for its unique characters and combat system combining physical and psychic attacks. Opinions vary. Tyler enjoys its unique characters and depth, while Jack finds the music a headache. The game is considered fun to watch, even if initially confusing to play. The game receives a 65% overall rating, with lower marks for visuals and value. The game features psychickers with psychic powers and is set 2 years after the first game. A separate section discusses A Fight Club, the game based on the movie, utilizing a quirky game engine and elements of tongue-in-cheek humor. The next page is a review for Ready 2 Rumble Boxing on the Dreamcast. Dreamcast Magazine clearly enjoyed it, describing it as having cartoonish graphics and tongue-in-cheek humor. It seems they were particularly impressed with the Easy Touse interface and the pick-up-and-play arcade style. The review highlights the roster of characters, mentioning that Ready 2 Rumble Boxing initially offers 3 boxers to choose from: Afro Thunder, Boris Nokimov, and Butcher Brown, but eventually unlocks 14 in total. The review spotlights 5 of these characters in more detail: Butcher Brown from Colombia, Jet Iron Chin from Taipei, Tank Thrasher from Alabama, Boris the Bear, Nokimov from Zagreb, and Seleni Strike from Brasilia, giving each a special move and a little bit of background. It also mentions the game's Rumble mode, activated by blue-graded punches, and the health bars for each fighter. The Info Burst section calls it the first boxing game for Dreamcast, and notes there are 17 unique boxers with 120 facial expressions. They also mention you can feel each blow through the Dreamcast's VMU Rumble Pack, and that Will Smith was set to portray boxer great Muhammad Ali in a forthcoming film. The review wraps up with the tagline, "Make no mistake, Ready 2 Rumble is no punch-drunk hitter, but a right swinger that will keep you in the ring well into 2000. Sounds like a bit of all-right fun." Ready 2 Rumble Boxing receives high praise in this review. The game's strengths lie in its impressive graphics, sound, accessible controls, and engaging 2-player mode. A second opinion highlights the game's fast-paced action, particularly in first-person, and considers it a Dreamcast essential. The review awards an overall score of 89%, with high marks for visuals, sound, gameplay, and value. Features include a comprehensive championship mode, training, and prize fights. Players can customize their boxers with gear. The review also includes a humorous note about the "Let's Get Ready to Rumble" sample. The page also contains advertisements for early mobile phone content like ringtones and logos. Dog Harry. Ready 2 Rumble Boxing Round 2 for the Dreamcast delivers more of the same cartoonish violence that made the original a hit. The game retains its charm, with character models resembling sculpted clay figures, perfectly complementing the Dreamcast's aesthetic. New characters seamlessly integrate into the experience, and the gameplay remains accessible and fun. The review notes the game's light-hearted approach, comparing some elements to fake breasts. Helpful tips are offered, including the ability to deliver extra punches when opponents are near the ropes, and a highlight of the triple rumble flurry combo. A comparison of character models, especially Afro Thunder, showcases graphical similarities to the first game, which is positive for fans. This page dives straight into a review of Ready 2 Rumble Boxing Round 2. They reckon it's a decent follow-up, keeping the cartoonish charm of the original. The judgment section breaks it down, saying it's got knockout punch, quality animation, and Michael Jackson's in it, though the music is a bit repetitive and they reckon the crowd assembles like cardboard cutouts, which is a bit harsh. Second opinion is pretty positive, saying if you enjoyed the first one you'll like this, it's more of the same fun. They give it a respectable 85% overall Dreamcast rating, with visuals and sound getting 89% and gameplay at 80%. It mentions it being like Soul Calibur in terms of quality, which is high praise indeed. There's also a Dreamcast advert on the right, pushing hardware and games. They're highlighting Dreamcast consoles from £62.99 and listing games like Shenmue 2, Headhunter, Ready 2 Rumble Boxing Round 2, Virtua Tennis 2, Rez and a load more, all best-selling Dreamcast titles. Then there's accessories like memory cards and controllers, all with save-up-to deals. Below that are some website adverts, Winnercar Game Day and UK cheats, and a funny little advert with a bloke called Bob talking about games. At the bottom, there's a big Club Shops advert promoting a Gamer of the Year 2002 competition and a special reserve discount network for ukgames.com, listing a bunch of their store locations. The next page is a cracking review of Soul Calibur. They're calling it the undeniable king of the fighting game, which is high praise indeed. It mentions Namco's pedigree with Tekken, and that Soul Calibur is exceeding even their high standards, wondering if it could be the best beat-em-up ever. There are screenshots showing off the game's graphics, with captions talking about replays from multiple angles and the characters being well detailed. They point out lighting effects, and mention characters like Safisha and Mitsurugi. The review goes into detail about the graphics, mentioning shadow effects and fully rendered animation. They are impressed with the flawless movement and how it all comes together. There's a Get Connected section highlighting downloadable extras and the official Namco.com website. Then there's a section called Better Than the Arcade, claiming the Dreamcast version is better than the arcade original, praising the graphical and audio conversion and additional gaming options. They conclude by saying the fighting mechanics are easy to pick up and play, and reckons it's the least experienced beat-em-up player could enjoy it, especially on easy mode, and it makes the CPU a challenge too. They really are singing its praises, aren't they? This page continues the Soul Calibur review, and it's still getting top marks. They've given it a stonking 94% overall, breaking it down into 96% for visuals, 92% for sound, 94% for gameplay, and 93% for value. The reviewer reckons Soul Calibur is the greatest beat-em-up ever developed, so they're clearly blown away by it. The review highlights how detailed the stages are, and mentions the replays showing off the action from different angles. They've included more screenshots showcasing in-game action and character close-ups. They talk about the missions being more interesting and challenging as you progress, with more locations opening up. Apparently you can even have fights against two opponents at once, which sounds like a proper test of skill. On the right side, there's an advert, but it's not even for the Dreamcast. It's for a Nintendo GameCube magazine called Cube. It's shouting about being the UK's only dedicated GameCube magazine, and boasts about exclusive shots and exposes. Featured games mentioned are Turok Evolution, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3, Star Fox Adventures, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, James Bond, Agent Under Fire, FIFA 2002, NBA Street, Spy Hunter, Rune, Batman Vengeance and Sega Soccer Slam. Quite a list for Nintendo's new console. This Dreamcast review of Street Fighter Third Strike opens with a jaded tone, questioning Capcom's continued releases. Despite acknowledging stunning visuals and animation, the review, by Martin Mathers, suggests the game is just another iteration with minor changes, focusing on the new system direction mode. Humorous sections like, "The best ideas ever really lighten the mood." The game receives a 71% overall, with high marks for visuals and sound, but lower for gameplay and value. The judgment calls it shiter for Street and quite lovely for Fighter. A second opinion highlights its appeal to existing fans while potentially struggling to attract new players. Alternative recommendations include Marvel vs. Capcom 2 and Street Fighter Alpha 3. The review also notes the influx of beat-em-ups and a humorous comment about Chun-Li's updated appearance. This review of Street Fighter 2 eyes Double Impact, containing the original and second Impact, on Dreamcast acknowledges improvements but maintains some skepticism. The review highlights new characters in second Impact, including Necro, Urien, Oro, and Gil, offering humorous descriptions of their appearances and fighting styles. A Dreamcast opinion section rates the Kung Fu and Tai Chi styles as fairly good and not exactly the best, respectively. The review reiterates that fans will likely enjoy the game, but it might not attract new players, being viewed as more of the same. Suggested alternatives include Street Fighter Alpha 3 and Marvel vs. Capcom. Overall, Double Impact receives a 74% rating, with scores for visuals, 83%, sounds, 81%, gameplay, 80%, and value, 65%. The review concludes with a positive nod, stating that fans will find the package worthwhile. AA. This page is a review for Street Fighter Alpha 3 on the Dreamcast, and it starts with a bold statement. Few would challenge Soul Calibur to a fight, but then Street Fighter always did have balls. It points out that there have been many Street Fighter iterations over the years, but this Dreamcast version is considered a return to form, like the ultimate iteration of the SF2 style. The review emphasizes that Dreamcast owners who invested in next-gen tech and games will find this a very welcome addition. The Hyper Uppercut section details the expansive versus mode, where players can choose from a massive character roster and travel the globe for fights. The Globe Trotting section further describes the World Tour mode, where you pick your fighter and embark on a global journey. The soul-destroying part explains the Alpha 3 system, building upon previous Alpha games with its gauge system. In the Dreamcast opinion section, both the Judgment and Second Opinion segments praise the game, calling it coin-op perfect and suggesting it surpasses previous versions, even potentially the SNES editions in some respects. The review concludes with a Dreamcast rating of 84%, with visual scoring 85%, gameplay a solid 90%, value at 85%, but surprisingly sounds only managing 55%. There are screenshots illustrating in-game action, including a classic Street Fighter hitch scrap, and Ken trying a diving attack on Dalsim. Tech Romancer for the Dreamcast, aka Kikayo, is a robot fighting game. The review acknowledges its less than stellar visuals, noting they aren't the most beautiful, but compensates with highly enjoyable gameplay. The game offers a story mode with manga-style cutscenes and multiple pilots. The reviewer praises its accessibility, comparing it to Soul Calibur and Dead or Alive. The review also highlights bonus minigames, adding extra value. While the robot designs are described as anime-inspired and a bit over the top, they still manage to be enjoyable. The Dreamcast opinion rates the game highly for gameplay and action despite the visuals. Overall, Tech Romancer receives a 90% rating, with high scores for gameplay and value. The reviewer concludes that while it may not match Soul Calibur's visual quality, it's packed with fun. This page is a review for Ultimate Fighting Championship on the Dreamcast. It's being touted as bringing ultra-realistic fighting into your living room. The review mentions the UFC as a place for watching people beat each other to a bloody pulp, quoting Marvin Gaye saying, "Let's get it on." It talks about American sports fans and their love for violent sports. The reviewer highlights the game's bone-crunching submission holds and the comfort and safety of playing in your living room. There's a quote, "Smack my bitch up now, before you get all boisterous and start complaining that it's impossible to," which seems to be part of the review style, perhaps a bit tongue-in-cheek. The Dreamcast Essentials box lists the publisher as Crave. The release is out now. The price is £39.99, 12 players, save game capability, and mentions it supports the vibration pack. The screenshots show in-game action, featuring fighters in an octagon. The overall tone seems enthusiastic about the game's realism and fighting action. This page continues the review of Ultimate Fighting Championship. It delves deeper into the game, highlighting that it features a roster of real-life fighters, mentioning names like Mark Coleman and Pat Miletic. There's an Info Blast side panel that gives extra info about the UFC tournament, and name-drops fighters like Pedro Rizzo and Jeremy Horn, with a bit of light-hearted humor thrown in about uniforms, and KFC. The review section, Make Your Own Martin, talks about the career mode, where you can create your own fighter and improve their abilities like stamina and punching power by earning points and unlocking new moves. They specifically mention the chicken wing move, praising its realistic look in the game. It's also emphasized that there are tons of moves to master for each fighter, suggesting a deep and complex fighting system. The page is packed with screenshots showing various fighters in action within the octagon, including the likes of Mark Coleman and Maurice Smith, really showcasing the gritty realism of the game. This review highly praises the UFC game, focusing on its realistic gameplay that goes beyond button mashing, emphasizing strategy and stamina. The review uses a CR.AP system, control, replayability, atmosphere, presentation, giving it high marks, with a 93% overall rating. Simon Phillips's second opinion echoes the praise, though he acknowledges the potential for button-bashing fatigue. The review suggests WWF Royal Rumble and Dead or Alive 2 as alternatives. The page also features various advertisements. Top are adult chat line ads, followed by an ad for advertising in the magazine. Other ads showcase consoles, Dreamcast, PS1, Atari, etc., and games through retailers like New Age Consoles and GameStation. Finally, Telegames promotes games and accessories via mail order, including retro console bundles, Atari Jaguar, Lynx 2, and offers on Game Boy printer paper, SNK, Neo Geo, PC Engine GT, and TurboGrafx X consoles. The next page gives us a review of Virtua Fighter 3 TB on the Dreamcast, and they're clearly impressed, calling it a perfect conversion from the arcade. They reckon the character animation is amazing, describing every kick and punch as a work of art, which sounds about right. They're keen on the new tournament battle mode, where you can pick a team of 3 fighters. There's also an infoblast box with extra details on the game. Looking at the screenshots, they point out the new tournament battle mode, special effects, the game over man, and even say old Shundi is still got it. They mention fluid motion for the graphics, and there's an awesome moment highlighting Dora's Ultimate Fighter. The game info box lists Sega as publisher and M2 as developer. It was out then at £35, a beat-em-up for 1 or 2 players, needing a VM and compatible with the arcade stick and jump pack. This page carries on with the Virtua Fighter 3 TB review, this time diving into the tough cookies, the 12 main fighters in the game. They've got little profiles for each character, like Wolf Hawkfield, Sarah Bryant, Lao Chan, Jackie Bryant, and so on. Each profile gives you their date of birth, nationality, height, weight, blood type, hobby, job and fighting style. All the important details for picking your fighter. It's a nice touch to get to know the characters a bit better. Musical. Then there's a Dreamcast opinion box giving Virtua Fighter 3 TB a whopping 93% overall, breaking it down into visuals, sounds, gameplay and value, all scoring in the 90s. They're calling it a masterpiece of arcade conversion and saying it'll blow you away. Flipping the page slightly, we've got a P2 magazine advert. It's all very yellow and in your face, shouting PlayStation 2 is here. Can you handle it? With a picture of the magazine and games like Star Wars Racer Revenge and Hitman 2 on the cover. Is pushing P2 as the only magazine you need for PS2 stuff. Issue 18 out in February 2002, promising in-depth reviews, previews and all that jazz. They're really laying it on thick about being unbiased and offering the best DVD reviews from the UK too. This review of WWF Royal Rumble on the Dreamcast dives into the wrestling spectacle. The reviewer, a fan of the WWF's blend of soap opera and violence, finds the sport's absurdity endearing. They highlight the game's key feature, the Royal Rumble match with 30 wrestlers vying to be the last one standing by throwing opponents out of the ring. The review praises the game's presentation and personality, mentioning iconic characters like Mankind, A.K.A. Mr. Socko, and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson. It also hints at entertaining in-game environments, such as the kitchen and boiler room. Despite the over-the-top nature of wrestling, the review suggests the game is a fun and exciting experience, capturing the spirit of the WWF. This review of WWF Royal Rumble highlights its strengths on the Dreamcast. Keeping it real showcases character models and moves, emphasizing the presentation's flair. Can you take it in the ring? Boasts a large roster, including Kurt Angle and The Rock, with climbable ladders adding depth. Make a real exhibition of yourself, details the exhibition mode, while Fight with Club focuses on the Royal Rumble mode, supporting up to 9 wrestlers. The Dreamcast opinion section praises the game with a 91% overall rating, driven by strong visuals, 93%, and gameplay, 92%. It's deemed a great wrestling title for Dreamcast fans, with WWF Attitude suggested as an alternative. This page kicks off with an advert from Project K, you know, those mail-order specialists for import games and accessories. They've got the whole range, PlayStation, PS2, and importantly for us Dreamcast gear. They're pushing Japanese and USA Dreamcast games, alongside a few accessories like VGA switches, and even a multi-use VGA box if you were fancying connecting your Dreamcast to a PC monitor back then. Looks like they were big on Final Fantasy merch too, statues, soundtracks, the lot. Crow. Flipping over, we land on what seems to be the intro to a cheat section, As of Cheats it's called. The main image features Ryo Hazuki from Shenmue, looking as determined as ever. Can't finish a game? Never mind, we're here to help, it declares, which is always welcome. Looks like a handy guide if you were stuck. And down at the bottom, it teases the regulars sections Directory and Dream On, plus it mentions it's issue 32 of Dreamcast Magazine. This As of Cheats update for the Dreamcast unveils a plethora of secrets. Four Wheel Thunder offers pause and track unlocks. Aerowings 2 provides a comprehensive list of plane unlocks. Army Men features level select, while Buggy Heat grants extra colors and modes. Capcom vs SNK unlocks costumes and characters like Evil Ryu. Choo Choo Rocket has a Sonic challenge, and Crazy Taxi gets a day mode. Dave Mirra BMX unlocks everything, including Sean Palmer. Daytona USA 2001 adds modes and car unlocks. Dead or Alive 2 offers character select and camera options. ECW unlocks wrestlers. ESPN Track and Field adds metallic characters. Fighting Force 2 gives level select, and Fighting Vipers 2 unlocks stages and characters. Frogger 2 unlocks characters and skips levels. Finally, Fur Fighters offers level select and character unlocks. This Dreamcast cheat code compilation offers a diverse range of unlocks. For JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, find kid mode and character unlocks like Dio. Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver grants abilities, health boosts, and even ways to pass through barriers. Looney Tunes Space Race unlocks characters like Porky and Bugs using specific codes, along with world and gallery unlocks. Looney Tune Men's 24 Hours unlocks tracks, cars, and championships. Magforce Racing simply unlocks all tracks. Marvel vs. Capcom features complex character unlocks. Jedi Power Battles unlocks characters and levels through gameplay. Guilty Gear X unlocks characters and endings. GTA 2 provides cash and all weapons. Hydro Thunder unlocks secret tracks. Finally, Jimmy White's 2 Cue Ball has a cheat menu and explorer mode. This page provides cheat codes and tips for various Dreamcast games. For Marvel vs. Capcom 2, it covers character switching, alternate costumes, and hidden characters. MDK2 includes a comical cheat for Kurt's attire. Indy 500 offers slowdown and pause options. Mortal Kombat Gold allows access to the cheat menu, while Wayne Gretzky's hockey utilizes his name as a cheat. MTV Skateboarding features numerous codes and unlockable player names with pins, including hidden court access. NHL 2K offers play as programmer team and big head mode, with Wayne Gretzky's name reappearing as a cheat. NBA Showtime, NBA on NBC, enables player swaps, costume changes, mascot play, and player creation cheats. NBA 2K provides bonus teams, big head mode, and various gameplay modifiers. Millennium Soldier, expendable boasts, extensive cheats for shields, level skips, and character unlocks, including Mortal Kombat characters. Finally, NFL Blitz 2000 includes cheats for play selection, hidden player access, and general gameplay modifications. This document reviews several Dreamcast games. Pen Pen is a racer with unlockable costumes. Phantasy Star Online, the online RPG, features hidden artwork and cheat codes. Power Stone highlights its item collecting mode and offers Valga's Bee as a playable character, with VM game downloads suggested. Quake 2 iArena promises fast-paced action with unlockable cheats. Rainbow Six offers tactical tips, while Rayman 2 suggests bonus maps and a cheat. Ready 2 Rumble Boxing. Round 2 is heavily featured, with 2-player options, character voice changes, outfit variations, hidden characters, like a leprechaun, and numerous unlockable modes including different boxer types. Fat, Zombie, Mr. President, the First Lady, and seasonal costumes. Kerkerbox. This Dreamcast Games Guide provides cheat codes and unlockables for various titles. Resident Evil Code. Veronica features unlockable modes like Battle Mode. Samba de Amigo offers cheats for All Music, Random Mode, and Super Hard Mode. San Francisco Rush 2049 allows players to unlock all cars. Sega Rally 2, Japanese version, includes unlockable vehicles like the Subaru Impreza 555, obtainable by finishing high in Championship Mode. Secret tracks are unlocked by winning all championship years. Course descriptions highlight Desert Sauce 1 as a beginner track, while Desert Sauce 2 and Mountain Sauce 3 offer more challenging experiences. Brief mentions are given to Sega Gates Access World Speed King Races and Sega Bass Fishing, advising practice to unlock arcade levels. An advertisement for a Dreamcast helpline, offering game tips and codes through a premium rate phone number, concludes the information. This page is packed with tips and tricks for a variety of Dreamcast games, classic stuff. Starting with Sega Rally 2, they are highlighting core strategies for various terrains like snowy, muddy, isle, and desert, giving advice for tackling each section using different cars like the Lancia Delta HF Integral, Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution IV, Peugeot 306 Maxi and Lancia 037 Rally. Moving on, Snowcross Championship Racing gets a good chunk with cheat codes for things like silent scope, invisible enemies, night levels, and unlockable content such as tracks, cartoon track, summer track, ATV, and go-kart and demo mode, all the usual suspects to get the most out of the game. Finally, there's a section dedicated to Sonic Adventure, focusing on how to get Chaos and VM, explaining the steps to raise Chaos stats, and unlock VM using minigames and KO Adventure, a VM game itself, proper Dreamcast-era stuff, using the VM to its fullest. There's even a little Sonic illustration, showing him enjoying the VM. This Dreamcast game guide is packed with secrets and unlockables. Sonic Shuffle tips focus on the fruit matching game. Sonic Adventure details how to unlock characters like Big the Cat, and Super Sonic for Versus mode. Soul Calibur reveals how to unlock content like the picture gallery, art cards, new stages and missions, and also provides a guide on how to play as Inferno and access soul cheats. South Park Rally offers a variety of cheat codes, including character unlocks like Jesus and Mephisto. Speed Devils provides a quick cheat to unlock all cars and tracks. The guide aims to help players maximize their fun in these classic Dreamcast games. This page offers a collection of Dreamcast cheat codes and unlockables for various games. Racing games benefit from infinite nitros and extra money cheats. Star Wars Episode 1. Racer unlocks bonus characters. The Grinch unlocks minigames, while Tomb Raider Chronicles features level select codes. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2 boasts numerous cheats like unlocking everything and character unlocks. Toy Commander provides access to all rooms and weapon enhancements. Trickstyle unlocks special boards and modes. Unreal Tournament gets you level skips, invincibility, and max ammo. Rally 2 unlocks all cars and tracks. Vigilante 8. Second Offense includes rapid fire, missile upgrades, and vehicle modifications, alongside bonus characters. Street Fighter 2i. Third Strike and Double Impact unlocks Gookie and Gil, along with extra costumes and stages. This page is an advert for the Game Boy Advance and Total Advance magazine. It's got a big picture of a hand holding a GBA, with the tagline, Total Advance the Handheld Pick-Me UP. The advert mentions a few games like Virtua Striker 2, version 2000.1, Worms Armageddon and WWF Royal Rumble, and even Zombie Revenge, although these seem to be GBA versions, not Dreamcast. The magazine cover itself on the right shows Tekken Advance, Sonic Advance and Star Wars Episode 1, Jedi Power Battles for the GBA. It's all about pushing the Game Boy Advance as the must-have handheld. The Dreamcast Mag directory, sponsored by Game, offered a comprehensive listing of Dreamcast games. Presented as a one-stop shop, it aimed to help players choose games wisely. The directory was structured as a table with key information for each game, including name, publisher, player count, VM compatibility, online features, peripherals, magazine issue, and a rating percentage. The selection covered a wide range of genres, from racing games like Daytona USA 2001 to adventure titles such as Shenmue, including classics like Sonic Adventure. Each entry included We Say comments, offering concise opinions on the games. These blurbs provided quick insights into the magazine's views. Overall, the directory was a valuable resource for Dreamcast owners seeking a quick overview of available titles and the magazine's assessments. This Dreamcast directory lists numerous games. Platformer Cow the Kangaroo is aimed at younger players. MSR is a must-have driving game, and Missile Command is brilliant. Several NFL games are included. Nightmare Creatures 2 has atmosphere but poor camera angles. Outrigger is odd, and Plasma Sword is enjoyable despite being generic. Pod 2 has online racing, and Project Justice is a great fighter. Propeller Arena was cancelled. Psychic Force 2012 is a guilty pleasure, and Railroad Tycoon 2 is complex. Ready 2 Rumble Boxing is also included. Record of Lodos War is recommended for anime fans. Red Dog is a chaotic shooter, while Resident Evil 2, 3, and Code Veronica are survival horror classics, with the latter showcasing stunning visuals. San Francisco Rush 2049 is a futuristic racer, and Sega's arcade style is shown off by the Sega Bass Fishing Games and Sega Extreme Sports. Shenmue and Shenmue 2 are essential epics. Genre boxes highlight titles like Resident Evil Code, Veronica, Action/Adventure, Soul Calibur, Beat 'em Up, MSR, Driving/Racing, Choo Choo Rocket, Party/Puzzle, Starlancer, Shoot 'em Up, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2, Sports, and Hidden and Dangerous, strategy/simulation. This import directory highlights Dreamcast games, many unavailable in the UK or Japanese imports. It provides details like publisher, player count, VM compatibility, online features, peripherals, magazine issue and ratings. The list includes notable titles such as Aero Dancing F, Alien Front Online, Choo Choo Rocket, and fighting games like Cannon Spike, Capcom vs SNK series, and Marvel vs Capcom 2. Other featured games are Denchu to Go 2, Giant Gram 2000, and Godzilla Generations, Maximum Impact. Essential games like Phantasy Star Online The 2, Resident Evil Code Veronica, and Shenmue are also included. Space Channel 5, Street Fighter 2, Third Strike, Sonic Adventure, and Virtua Cop 2 round out this collection, offering a snapshot of sought-after import titles and system showcases. This page continues the import directory. We're still looking at a listing of games, going through the alphabet. Right, let's see. Wacky Races is there, proper cartoon fun on the Dreamcast. Wild Metal and Worms Armageddon are in there, both solid titles. Then Zombie Revenge, that's a bit of beat-em-up zombie action if you're into that sort of thing. Seems like they're rounding out the alphabet now. Over to the side we have a Game On advert. Looks like Game are trying to shift some Dreamcast games with a £5 off voucher. They reckon it's the end of the Dreamcast era, and are trying to flog off the remaining stock. Says you can save money on favorite Dreamcast titles, and mentions Sonic Adventure 2, Daytona USA 2001, and Confidential Mission in the picture. All decent games. They're really pushing the bargain aspect, trying to get people to buy before it's all gone. This page from the magazine offers a glimpse into its past through the back issues section, showcasing covers and content summaries from issue 7 to 31. Each issue entry includes cover art, featured content and reviewed games, often highlighting classic Dreamcast titles. Notable issues like 10, 11, 22, 23 and 24 are marked as sold out. The subscriptions section promotes subscriptions with a 10% discount for direct debit payments. Subscription prices are listed: £18 for 6 issues in the UK, £20 in Europe, and £28 elsewhere. The page emphasizes the cost savings of subscribing versus buying individual issues, and offers order forms for both subscriptions and back issues, with various payment options. The design prominently features Dreamcast-era imagery and a character reminiscent of Ryu Hazuki. This page is split in two halves. The left side is an advert for Dreamcast Magazine itself, boasting about being the #1 unofficial mag, reviewing every game from the UK, Japan and America, packed with cheats and tips, loads of competitions, and reliable reviews. They're teasing next month's issue will feature the finest racing games on the Dreamcast. There's also a subscription form and details for newsagents to stock the magazine, mentioning issue 33 is on sale March 28, 2002. The right side is a full-page advert for mobile phone ringtones and text graphics. It's very much of its time, pushing polyphonic tones from 99p and graphics from 50p. There's a woman on a phone giving a thumbs up, surrounded by lists and lists of tone categories like chart hits, film and TV themes, and even classic tones. You could get James Bond themed tunes, Hawaii Five-O, or even the Muppets theme for your phone, which is quite something. At the bottom there's a small ad for a psychic tarot service, rounding out the typical early 2000s mobile phone content vibe.